The ground was colder than she expected. Sharp stones bit into the soles of her feet as Anna stepped onto the starting line, her breath trembling in the early mountain air. Around her, recruits whispered, smirked, elbowed each other. Someone in the back laughed openly, pointing at her bare feet at the red marks already forming. They had taken her boots in the night, hidden them, tossed them somewhere into the forest just to teach the newbie a lesson. But Anna didn't shout. She didn't beg. She simply tightened the straps of her backpack, lifted her chin, and waited for the horn. And when the others noticed she wasn't quitting, their amusement shifted into unease. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. The horn blasted across the valley, and the recruits surged forward. Dust rose, boots thundered. Anna moved slower at first, choosing each step carefully. Every stone sent a jolt of pain up her leg, but she kept her breath steady, her eyes forward. She remembered her grandmother's voice. Hard ground only hurts when you stop moving. So she didn't stop. As the trail narrowed into a steep incline, the recruits encountered the first obstacle ridge littered with jagged shale. Many hesitated. A few cursed, but Anna. She placed her foot on the sharpest rock she could find and pushed off with a quiet, disciplined fury that startled even herself. Whispers followed her. How is she? She's bleeding. She's still going. But Anna wasn't running from pain. She was running from the memory of the night before. 3 recruits cornered her bunk, pulled off her boots, and tossed them outside. She'd seen the spite in their eyes, the insecurity. That was what hurt more than the rocks. By mile 3, sweat ran into her eyes. Cuts on her feet stung with every step. But the wind changed. Cooler, sharper, and she sensed another presence on the trail. She wasn't alone. High above, on a cliff overlooking the course, a small group of instructors watched. Among them stood Colonel Reyes, the commanding officer known for breaking hardened soldiers with a single sentence. He didn't usually observe the early parts of these treks, but today he was silent, binoculars raised, tracking the barefoot girl weaving through obstacles with a determination that unsettled him. Anna felt it too, that invisible weight. Someone was watching her, judging her, measuring her spirit against something she didn't understand. But she kept going. Near the halfway point, the forest thickened and the ground turned into soft mud. Recruits slowed, some stumbled. Few sank so deep they needed help climbing out. Anna, however, felt the mud hug her feet like a bomb. It cooled her cuts, gave her back a fraction of comfort. And as she moved past recruits who had mocked her only hours earlier, she didn't gloat. She didn't look back. That humility made the whispers grow. At mile 7, disaster struck. A recruit ahead of her slipped on a wet slope and tumbled sideways, his leg twisting beneath him. His cry tore through the trees. Others froze, half from exhaustion, half from fear. Anna didn't hesitate. She dropped beside him, checked his leg, and tore fabric from her own shirt to bandage the swelling. She lifted him against her shoulder, ignoring the mud, the blood, the stones. "Why? Are you helping me?" He groaned. "You're part of my team," she said softly, "even if you forgot." Some recruits watched in stunned silence. A few hung their heads. The last stretch was brutal, a sun-baked ridge that burned through calloused feet and scorched the ground beneath them. Each breath tasted like iron. Each step felt like fire. But Anna moved like someone who had accepted the pain rather than avoided it. She placed the injured recruit down safely at the checkpoint and continued to the finish alone. The final flag stood at the top of a lonely hill. Only 3 people had reached it so far, unbothered to look down the trail, until they heard the steady, rhythmic steps of someone who should have collapsed miles ago. Gasps rippled across the finish area as Anna appeared barefoot, bleeding, bruised, but upright. Her shadow stretched long behind her, shaped almost like wings. Colonel Reyes stepped forward, hands behind his back. The recruit snapped to attention. Anna stopped in front of him. Her chest rose and fell, like a tide pulled by a distant moon. "You finished 4th, Reyes said quietly. "Your feet are cut. You could barely stand at mile 5. "Why didn't you quit?" Anna swallowed. "Because quitting doesn't heal wounds. It just delays them." For a moment, the clearing was breathless. Then, in a gesture that froze every recruit in place, Colonel Reyes raised his hand in a crisp, unmistakable salute directed at her. The competitors who stole her boots felt the shame settle into their bones. "You didn't win the trek," Rhea said. "You won something bigger. Respect. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back." And as the wind passed over the hill, cooling her wounded feet, Anna realized something unexpected. The very ground meant to break her had carried her to her victory. Thank you for listening. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. And subscribe to Whispered Words for more powerful mission stories just like this one.